But we're still largely younger age groups that do Bloom Say. And I think we're about 25% of our field is age 18 or younger. So we have a lot more older runners, but a lot of primarily we're a younger audience in it. This is sometimes people say, well, where do all your entrants come from? As you can see, the biggest piece of the pie is local. Local means Spokane County. So we're primarily a local event, and we do most of our advertising locally for that reason. We do a little bit outside the area, but mostly we do local. There's a kind of other Washington addresses. That's a pretty big slice. A lot from Idaho. And then smaller slices from other regions. We usually have almost every state represented, but it's usually just one or two people from some of those states. So largely a local event. What is the economic impact of Bloomsday? Well, we did a study in 2004. In fact, it was done through the business school here. And I've updated that with our current number of participants and figuring in inflation. And it's over $14 million economic impact. So it has a good impact for businesses in the region, especially hotels, restaurants, and so forth. A lot of retail as well, actually. And our participants come in all shapes, sizes, colors, and they're fast. In fact, these are some times within some of these age groups. That's fastest overall. Last year, 2011, was 4:33 per mile, and that's on a hilly course. That's pretty good. Fastest female, 5:25 a mile. Fastest over 40, still 5:02 a mile. That's really good. Over 50, still cranking it out at 6:06. You got to get up here all the way to over 90 before you get somebody at 17 minutes a mile. So a lot of fast people in there, even though most of them wouldn't consider themselves elite runners necessarily. But we also have a lot of slow people too. And here's our median time from 2011. That's about a little over 15 minutes per mile. So that's a steady walk. Most of our participants actually are walkers, not runners, in spite of those fast people. So we have some serious competitors like these wheelchair competitors. Some of the best wheelchair races in the world race at Bloom State Course. Not everybody's quite as serious. And this is our goal. So we have such a different kind of audience that they're all over the map this way. And so how do we keep them all happy? If you're an elite runner, do you care whether there's music on the course? And if you're a walker, do you care whether somebody ran 4:33 per mile pace? I don't know. Anyway, so we had that growth in the early years, that chart I showed you before. Somewhere around 1996 was our all-time high. We had a little over 60,000 entrants, about 56,000 finishers. The difference, by the way, we always have somewhere between 8 and 11% of our entrants that don't show up as finishers. I can't tell you we know exactly why that happens, but mostly it's because people forgot that they had to work that day, or they got something back here in their leg, or something interferes. We know there are some people that don't want to be timed and who get rid of their timing tag so that they never show up. But most people, it's something after they enter, something has come up and they don't actually participate. So there's a discrepancy between those two. Anyway, our highest year was 1996, our 20th year, and we were a little over 61,000 entrants and about 56,000 finishers. The next year we dropped down. We weren't too worried because we said, well, that was an anniversary year, so we expect that it's not always going to be that high. And it stayed kind of about in this range for a while. Yeah, a little bit of a downward trend. And then this happened. This was between 2002 and 2003. And we said, well, we've never thought that our goal is to be as big as possible, but we also don't want to start shrinking either. So what can we do about this? What's the reason for it, and what can we do about it? So in 2003, we had a study done by Robinson Research, a local research company. And they did a phone survey of a sampling of 400 people. And these were people who had participated prior to 2003, like in 2001 and 2002, but then didn't show up in 2003. So basically, why not? Why didn't you do it in 2003? And after they did the research and crunched the numbers and so forth, they gave us these key findings. Okay, first of all, overall, people really liked the event. It's not like they said it's too crowded, or, you know, I just didn't like it for some other reason. They all had really good perceptions about the event. So we felt good about that. We weren't necessarily doing something wrong. Mostly people said, look, it's a community event. The athletic competition, that those really fast people are fine, but for me, it's mostly a community event. And I like to participate with my friends and family, and that's what's important to me. And if you want to, because we said, well, should we be doing some enhancements to make this a better experience? And they said, well, that'd be fine, yeah. Any enhancements you want to do, we'd welcome those. So our board kind of thought this through and made some changes after 2003. And these are some of the things that we did. Okay, improved starting procedure. What does that mean? Well, I showed you that photograph of everybody on Riverside. Prior to that, we had people starting on different streets and merging later. And we think when we moved everybody onto one street, that created a lot of excitement, a lot of crowd excitement. The dramatic finish area, you know, the signature, I guess, the geological thing in Spokane is the falls. So we moved the finish line closer to the falls, sort of right above the falls. So it's kind of a dramatic finish area. And we ratcheted up the on-course entertainment and let people vote for their favorite. We've always had bands on the course, but we really worked to get more entertainment out on the course because that seemed to be something people liked. And we tried to do now more of a post-race celebration, more things in Riverfront Park after the run, so people can hang around and kind of enjoy themselves. So those are some of the things that we did. So this, in 2006, we implemented chip timing. And this is real common now, and basically, in 2006, we used this computer chip, RFID chip, that was attached to the ankle with that Velcro strip. So what difference did that make? Well, prior to that, if somebody was back in the crowd and we started, it could take them 20 minutes or more to get across the starting line. So all of those 20 minutes, we couldn't factor into their time. We could figure out pretty closely when they passed across the finish line, but we didn't know how long it took them to get to the start and get across the start. Using this chip, it times you from when you cross the starting line. There's a pad there on the ground that times you to start, and when they cross the finish line. So you get an actual, accurate time how long it took you to do the course. So that was the big thing, and I think has turned out to be a very popular part of the enhancements that we did. The fifth year that we used that kind of timing, we used this D-chip, or D-tag it's called. It's the same idea. It has a radio frequency ID tag in this plastic strip, and these are showing you ways not to put it in your laces. But basically, you put it in the laces of your shoes, so you don't have to have anything around your ankle, but it does the same thing. And actually, this year, we've got a brand new system. That tag stays in your number. So if you wear your number, you don't have to take anything off and put it in your shoe. It'll just time you from your bib.